Jesus wept. Thank you,
I
internet service
didn't know I
provider.
could do that with Sonic Music. Sorry.
Thank you, internet service provider. We'll
It
wait for
was
people
you.
to come back in.
It was Sega got us cut off because of you playing Sega.
I just
Music.
played the Green Hills theme song. That's the theme song. That's all.
Right. New stream.
Are you starting it up again?
On.
There it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's on.
New stream.
And we're back.
Now we're back. Now we're back to rocking and rolling again. Oh,
Yeah?
Cool.
Jesus, yeah.
Welcome to part two of midweek mix show.
Took a break. Oh, not again.
They always feel quite, I don't know, blocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are a bit cheesy, but that's part of the charm, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe with the new engine they can be a bit more fluid.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Right, I think we're all back now. We have now got a stable internet connection again for the time being. Thank you to Virgin Media for turning the internet off momentarily in the middle of a stream, and then turning it back on again for absolutely no reason. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
So, back to BitCloud and his choice for
Yes, BitCloud.
Starfield first Call for.
Yeah, for the internet, before we got cut off the mic. So, again, like I said earlier, I would have to go with the game that I seen gameplay for, and that was God of War. God of War is pretty straightforward at that point because I know what I'm getting. I see a good, improvements there. As far as Starfield is concerned, again, I can't really pass judgment because I haven't seen anything. I know a lot of people got their high hopes for it. A lot of people have their different. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have like a different view of what you think the game's going to look like, gameplay wise, style wise. So that's kind of the weird part right there for me. It's like I can't really critique or say anything until we see it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the game I'm gonna go for. And I think it was Berlin said, "Oh yeah, what about Wolverine? We haven't seen Wolverine." And my rebuttal to that, I mean, this is Insomniac. Insomniac proved themselves with Spider-Man. I have no doubts what they're gonna do for Wolverine.
Yeah.
And for this particular studio, well, I'll just put it up this. We'll see.
Yeah. It's,
I don't want to have a Cyberpunk situation where I overhype it and oh no, it doesn't look anywhere near to what we said. So,
8-bit side scroller.
yep, there you go.
But yeah, it's
God, that was such a fail. That game, such a fail. Third person cutscenes. I was like, dude, something's wrong with this game. Dude was coming up my neck when I brought that up. I was like, well, there's something wrong. Like, what you mean? Ain't that wrong? The cutscenes are still there. I'm like, where? It's first person.
Yeah.
You came into your character. And dude was like, oh, you can look at yourself in the mirror. Like, any of you guys in this chat are going to look in the mirror and look at your character. I ain't doing this. Like,
Only at the beginning when you first do it.
Like, what are we doing? Like, oh boy.
Dear me. But yes, the next topic that I want to discuss, and it's more of a positive, but it has received negative backlash thanks to quoting a specific site that people only like to use in certain circumstances. But Aaron Greenberg, of course, famously now, quote tweeted VG charts.
End of the show.
Yeah. Quote tweeted VG charts, stating, of course, thank you to everybody for the success of the Xbox Series generation so far. We've got work to do, but obviously congratulations. VG charts, of course, stating that as per their estimates, the Series consoles across the board are outpacing and outselling the 360 generation at the same point in time. Of course, later backed up by NPD, which kind of showed that they were having their strongest quarter to date in units and sales, etc., etc. But of course, the positive news to come out of it, outside of the fanboy bickering and things about the fact that he used VG charts, was the fact, of course, that series consoles are very much on the up. They're doing extremely well. And this is just in comparison to Xbox. This is Xbox comparing against themselves. 360 was our best generation, and our current gen is outpacing that. So massive shout out to everybody so far, and we can only improve. And it's good to see, for me personally, that they are reiterating that they still intend to keep getting better and not just rest on their laurels. That was the positive note that came out of that for me. And of course, seeing that it was doing better than 360 generation is great. I think what we all don't want is another 360 generation with Red Ring. So let's hope that 2 years into this generation we don't have some weird new Red Ring issue, and I don't think we will. I think they've learnt their lessons there. But overall, it's been a really positive, should we say, outlook to where the gen is now. Shom, what are your thoughts on kind of how Xbox are performing this generation, and so far, of course, only on the back of what is now Halo and Forza, really, as their big releases?
Well, it couldn't do any worse than last gen, could it? Really?
No, you are
to
right.
be fair,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that it's beginning to show itself, because I mean, I think everybody knows, any sane person knows that competition is good. You know, you want to be competing with Sony, you want to push Sony, and Sony, you want Sony to push you. As consumers, that's otherwise, what's the point? They're just going to absolutely rake you over the barrel, and you're just going to go, yeah, you know, $100 a game, $120 a game, and that's from both sides. I'm not saying, you know, something, you know, I'm not saying just Sony. If we let them get away with it, both companies would absolutely screw us, because they're companies.
Yeah.
They want to make as much money as possible. So for Xbox actually doing well this time, I think that's down to stuff like Game Pass. I think with that, it gives more casuals more of an incentive to buy, that along with the Series S.
Yes.
I think that's probably the biggest spearhead at the moment, is the S with casuals and Game Pass.
Yeah, 100%. 100. I think the Series S for them ended up being, and more just down to the manufacturing process and what was required for the Series S, it ended up being a stroke of genius, really. The lower cost to get into the gen, the lower manufacturing costs, the lower requirements and material requirements for the S have really helped it. And of course, it's been consistently available to buy, which has also massively helped them. This is one area I think specifically where PlayStation need to try and get on top of things sooner rather than later. And it's not to say PlayStation are having a great generation, because they are. I mean, they're close to 18 million units shipped, I think, as well themselves, if not over that now. I think they're at 17.5 on last count, so they're doing really impressively well. Xbox sitting around the 13, 14 million mark on estimates. So extremely positive for both sides. Really great to have strong competition now on both sides as well. Last generation was a whitewash. Absolutely wiped the floor with Xbox. And like you say, the whole 2-1, but it did. And that was...
Thank you, Dolmetric.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It was almost like they didn't know what they wanted to do, even when they dropped the Xbox One X. When they dropped that One X, when we were all hyped for, you know, the power, I'm like, okay, are they going to start pushing, let's say 1440p 60 all games, you know? Like, are they going to do something like that? Nah, they didn't even do nothing like that. It was just, hey, we got this. By the way, did you guys know Tomb Raider, the old games you played? It's enhanced on our platform. I'm like, huh? What's the point? So,
And the best
Yeah,
thing
it's like they
about
wanted the
Xbox
power
One has been
narrative,
dropped.
but didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
pretty much.
That was pretty much exactly this thing. Mick, what do you make of the kind of a nice post announcement by Xbox? Of course, just both of them reiterating we're outselling the previous generation. We're doing really well, but we want to kind of continue to get better. How do you see the performance of Xbox so far this generation?
Yeah, it's really positive, isn't it? Like I think it was Sean before said, I mean, they couldn't do any worse than last generation, really. I don't think. It's just great to see them, move past that, and they've clearly sort of learned from a lot of their mistakes. And the only people that benefit from it at the moment are us, like I say. So it's all really good. It's nice to see. It's good to see a lot of the people in Japan as well seem to be tweeting out that they're picking up the Series S. Seems to be big over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great news, really. Yeah, I'm happy to see it.
Definitely. Big Cloud, what's your overall thoughts on how the performance of the generation's going? I think as a whole, and from your perspective, not just on Xbox and PlayStation as well, but how do you see it? This news coming from Xbox, kind of as a for the market in general for gaming.
Compared to last generation, where it felt like they were running around like chickens with their heads cut off, like they didn't know what they wanted to do. This is like 5 times, like 10 times different, like better than what we've seen before. I mean, yeah, they're not outselling PlayStation, which I'm not surprised by that. It's a bigger brand, it always has been. But the one thing I will say, and I think a lot of people need to take in, is the tone. The tone of Microsoft has drastically changed compared to what we did before. Before, it was like everybody was just like fed up. Nobody was, not everybody was excited. Not everybody was like, oh my God, what's next? Nah, Microsoft, they've gotten everybody talking about the box and the brand. So they've definitely done better in those regards. As far as the games, we know games are coming, so I'm not worried about the games for now. I mean, they have to perform when we see them. But in terms of like sales-wise, what they're doing, I mean, again, anything that beats the abysmal like Xbox One, it's weird because I'm saying Xbox One, which it shouldn't have been called Xbox One, it should be called something else. But anything that's beating the Xbox One, like narrative sales wise, everything is good in my book personally, and it's good to see that. So hopefully this leads to even better things.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Obviously, we don't. The topic itself is pretty short and sweet. I don't want to kind of over talk about it, but I think for me, the great thing about it in general, and I think everyone can kind of any normal gamer, any non-toxic gamer can admit, it's great to see it because it's great to see true competition on both sides now, where both of them are vying for your money, both of them are vying for your time, and they both are trying really hard to do that. And that shows by what they're trying to purchase as well, the studios that they're getting. Of course, Sony going out and getting Bungie on board, and obviously vying for, and I think they've got 5-6 other studios on board now as well, looking to really increase their portfolio and pump out more content and bring more content to the masses. And then on Xbox's side, doing exactly the same thing, really heavily investing in studios and portfolio to make sure that future content is consistent, and they're vying for your money. And I think that, as a gamer, across all fronts, is only positive. Nintendo being Nintendo, but they're always competitive in their own right.
Yeah. Nintendo's a different breed, though. Like Nintendo, like, we argue this, like, the Sony or Microsoft know their audience type of thing, right? Because they'll make weird decisions here and there. But it's like Nintendo just has the most perfect audience. Like, they can drop anything. It's like anything they drop, they'll buy.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter what it is. They bought Labo, which was cardboard. They bought these Joy-Cons, which are super small.
Cardboard. Oh my God.
For us, it's weird. And people actually justify paying more for the cardboard that had Nintendo on it, because I remember there was 2 versions of that Labo.
Yeah.
So people justified that. It's like, it's their branding. I'm like, okay, we're in that type of conversation. So it really, they can do whatever they want at this point, and even proven with the mediocre, like, it's very mediocre in terms of the specifications of what that system can do. But the Switch, what they did with the Switch, if Sony or Microsoft dropped that, it would have been Armageddon in these streets.
Yeah, but that's what we saw after the 360, right? When the 360 had a great generation, and then the Xbox One dropped, and Don Metric was like, no, you have to sign in at least once every 24 hours. You have to do this DRM. I don't get all the shit stuff. And
the reason why Microsoft destroyed their own like hype in one conference, or really, really a conference and an interview, right? Because that's really what it was, and one tweet. Because Don came across like before, like he came across like number one, you guys don't matter, and that should never be the attitude when we're buying the product. You know what I mean? So when he was asking, people were asking like, "Yo, but what about people who are at army bases who don't have internet? What do you say to them?"
Buy
Well, I have a
360.
product for you. It's called a 360. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's your response. They'll go, okay, guess what? I have a response. So he's like, what? I'll buy a PS4. That's what people responses were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go to Adam Orff. Adam Orff, personally, I don't think Adam Orff gets the credit that he deserves, but Adam Orff is the guy who actually killed the Xbox before it even launched.
Yeah.
When he said hashtag deal with it. Yeah, I remember that tweet. That's the tweet.
No,
Yep,
I don't.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's the tweet that killed the Xbox.
That was when they were way out of touch.
When he's like, okay, I've seen so much complaining. You guys are upset about this. Listen, if you don't like it, deal with it. Everybody's
They were
like, okay.
They were not having our money then.
It's okay. Then that's your attitude. No problem. We're not going to buy the box.
We see what happened.
Yeah, and that tone quickly changed.
Yeah.
Don was out in less than a year, which was wild to me. He was out. He was gone. He was gone. So, but messaging it's what hurt that system. The messaging from Microsoft, even from showing it off at the Game Awards, has been good. Like they've done it right. The marketing has been on point. The only hiccup I would say, and again, this comes down to just a developer type of thing, but you guys already know 343 Halo. Halo was supposed to be there at launch and everything was supposed to be smooth sailing. They had that in the trailer for the campaign. It didn't launch. So that's the only thing. But again, it happens. Sony had a lot of plans. Like, for example, Order 1886 was supposed to launch with the PS4. It didn't launch.
Love that game.
So,
Big Cloud, have you seen it, by the way? I bought it because you and Boxenberger talked about it.
oh, you finally got it.
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
Are
Okay.
you going to stream that, Vin?
I am, yeah, I am.
I'll be tuning in for that then.
He's gonna like it. He's gonna like it.
I love that game.
When he gets to the electric art gun, he'll be like, "Damn, this game's amazing."
Like I say, Order for me was the PlayStation's rise. It was one of them underappreciated games
Yeah.
that deserves a sequel.
Very,
The
very
world-
underrated.
But-
Yeah.
That sentence, Drew, because you compared it to Rise, that made me insta buy it.
Yeah. It is. It is their
The
rise.
biggest
They
disappointment
both
about that
deserve-
game,
Go on.
the biggest disappointment about that game is just the length, because it's a really good game but too short.
Okay.
Do that, man.
Disappointing thing about that game is never got a
Hashtag deal
sequel.
with it.
Time out, Vin.
No, I don't. Oh man, that was such a bad tweet. Such a bad tweet.
Dear me. But speaking of release dates, not known release dates, etc., the summer shows this year. So of course we know there is no E3. There is a Summer Game Fest. We've had our own mini show here on the channel, which was the Indie Game Show. Obviously, that we try to highlight as many things as we can. We try to kickstart what would be the game shows for the year there. I think it was an awesome start for the community and something to get them hyped for potential future shows, I hope. Not
If
just
anyone
for
hasn't
ourselves.
seen it in chat, go and watch the Indie Showcase. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that was really well done.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. But it was what I wanted to hope it does as well is get, because it has been right now, it has been pretty dry for news. It's been pretty still for announcements and things like that. There's not really been much talked about. So it's getting people excited for games again, and really one of the main things about events, and of course hats off to both Iron Lords and 108 Dragons and others who have been at PAX East and news recently as well.
What was that?
That was a loud
Dat
sneeze.
was tegertje.
What was that?
Bless you, Pat.
Excuse me, guys. I thought that was my dad for a minute.
Oh, whoa. I got hacked for a second. Like, who's on my mic? What the hell?
Oh dear me! But yeah, one of the things that I've lost my trail of thought. Yeah, shout out to 108 and Iron Lords for the awesome coverage of PAX East. Really great to see kind of that. It's exciting because it's what we hope to see from like in-person showcases again, where people are going and speaking to developers and getting hands-on gameplay for the first time and seeing all these new things, and it's generating the excitement again. And I think with the lack of news from the big companies and bringing out all of these interviews and bringing out these new gameplay footages and everything in between. Events like, or at least coverage like what Iron Lords and 108 and other creators are that have been to PAX East and the indie game showcase that our community put together and things like that is helping, I think, generate hype for games whilst there is no events to speak of as yet, which is awesome. But what I also want to speak about is what do we think? When can we expect to see information from Xbox? Do we think it's going to be kind of starting to go into next month? Start talking about when their game showcase is going to be, or when their event is going to be. When do we think Sony's going to have their event? I won't mention Nintendo because Treehouse Live, whatever it is, their event is random. But of course, then we've got the overall encompassing Summer Games Fest by Jeff Keighley. And of course, looking to see what he does and how he going to get the entire gaming industry together to try and create one big event in the absence of E3, or is he going to have something separate from all of them and do something in collaboration with but not joined to their events? Big Cloud, what do you think first of all? What do you think it's going to be? Jeff Keighley kind of tries to take the reins and gets these big events in under one roof, or do you think he's going to do his own thing and let them also do something else?
I mean, he's definitely prepping for a lot of it. I don't know if y'all see his Twitter, like a lot of announcements he keeps making. He's showing off like art from developers to him at certain events. So it could be a mix of both. Like he could have like a big show he's planning for. But if he doesn't really take it by the reins, then obviously he's gearing up for the big reveal, which is probably going to be the Game Awards for this year. So it's up in the air. Last Summer Games Fest was kind of, if I remember correctly, it was hosted by Twitch streamers, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't how they did it? It was like Twitch streamers.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a different approach. I don't know if he's legit gonna host it, but I know he did say there was some stuff that some people, some stuff that some of you might be excited for, but he didn't want to say there was like nothing crazy. So I guess going there with low expectations, temper expectations going into that show, which is fine. I mean, again, it's not wrong. I mean, it's games. Some of these games are gonna be good, some are not really gonna be for everybody. Like I remember we saw that cooking game at the last one. I was like,
I remember.
Oh Lord!
Remember he hyped up before some of the showcase Balan Wonderland and how great that was. Look.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I remember that. I mean, again, he's excited. Like his games, he gets excited for games. We all get excited for it, just to see what it is. But I mean, let's face it, this dude is like, he has like one of the greatest reveals of all time with the Xbox Series X. Like, this dude kept that under wraps for so long, and nobody even guessed that was going to be at that show. So he's good at keeping stuff to himself, especially with anything Kojima related, because Kojima's been showing off a lot of hints what he's working on with his new studio or with his new location he's been taking pictures of. So we'll see. We'll definitely see.
When do you expect to see then on a Sony side? When do you expect to see Sony showcase this year?
I would hope next month. But maybe next they'll announce something. How Sony is like when these leaks go about, and this is why I laugh at the leaks, because the leaks go, "Hey guys, did you know there's going to be a showcase announcement today?" And it's like, well, thanks, you guys delayed it by 2 months, because that's usually what they do. They push it back a few months after, just to discredit the leakers who be on Reddit and whatnot. So they do this for regular. So it's like, let's not do this. And again, these leakers do be on point, because a lot of the stuff that we see with PlayStation, especially with the tiers for PlayStation Plus, the new business model with games going to PC, all that stuff was leaked before we even got the legit announcement for it. So they were dead on the point. The only thing they probably might get wrong, which is it's understandable, because a lot of like rough drafts, they'll get wrong probably like pricing, or they'll get wrong probably a little bit more context of what is happening. But again, it's usually the same thing though. Like they're to the T. Most of these leaks. So again, it's up in the air.
I was going to say with Sony, if you exclude the Twitter insiders, if you just look at the actual leaks, like the legitimate leaks that have come out for Sony across the years, they've usually been pretty spot on, and that's because there is very few and far between when it comes to Sony's leaks. Like the very legitimate ones rarely happen when it comes to PlayStation. Very rarely happen. So when they do come out, it's a case of right, okay, the ones that have come out and the big guys are speaking about and saying, no, this is pretty much what I'm hearing as well. They're the ones that tend to be good. It's the little ones that you see all over Twitter that don't tend to be right. Like, PlayStation having a showcase next week. And nothing's been mentioned. You're like, it's not happening.
Nothing. Nothing gets announced.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And there's always that one person that's saying that there's going to be a Metal Gear remake announced, and it
Yeah.
pisses me off because I actually want to see it because I love Metal Gear.
Skillbound.
It was always going to happen, wasn't it? It was always.
No, we banned it.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed. But you can have two for that one. Yeah, me. But yeah, it is. I don't expect them. I expect probably Sony to have their showcase maybe July. I think they'll let Xbox go first. I think they'll let, or at least as far as they're concerned, I think they'll put the ear to the ground and wait until Xbox have done whatever they want to do, and then say, right, okay, we can make some last minute changes. We can add this. We can change this. We can do this. Again, it's all about competition, and what they want to do is stand out and make their showcase exciting as well. So I think it could be a case of, let's see what they do first, and then we'll talk. That's my thoughts anyway.
When was Sony's last big event? Was it after?
The last one I remember, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think they did two back to back, right? It was like they did one for Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah,
That was one. That was the one, and then there was another.
And
one
Rise of
before
Forbidden
that.
West, right?
no, I mean like their big sort of summertime event. When was that? I can't remember.
It was a state of play. I think it showed Horizon and some other games there. I think.
yeah. I think that was that not July-ish time again as well.
Yeah,
I think so.
Been a minute, because I don't think God of War was at that showcase.
No, I don't think it was. No.
Yeah, it was at the one
That was
before
later
that.
show.
'Cause that was the big. Yeah, that was at the one before it. Like it was the announcement for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the pre-E3 show was that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Sean, what do you think? When do you think the Xbox showcase is going to happen this year? Do you think it's going to be June? Do you think it's going to be pushed maybe it's July? Do you think it's going to be earlier and be next month? What do you think?
I think it'll be in its traditional E3 slot.
It's June, beginning of June.
Yeah, the first, well, just after the 7th is what they normally have it. So like the first or second weekend of June, I think it'll just keep the same.
Yeah. And do you think, I mean,
Fairly easy.
I was going to say I'll get to the kind of overarching questions afterwards, but we'll get kind of ideas on when we think these events are going to happen. Like I say, as BitCloud mentioned as well, we've got the Game Awards, and we know that Xbox have now got kind of more of a history over recent years of wanting to save something back to drop on that show, which is awesome. And of course, it means that Xbox fans have got a reason to tune into that now as well, because they say, right, okay, what's getting announced? PlayStation fans have had the same, so I think
Skillbound.
it's you're asking for it tonight. But yeah, I think as an overarching thing, I think it's smart by Jeff Keighley to get both sides kind of involved and make sure that it has at least one announcement for each one to get both fans tuning into this Game Awards show, because without it really there's nothing, and we've mentioned this previously, without the unveilings, without the announcements for the Game Awards, the viewership would be right down, and it is unfortunately the way it is, but it is good to have some things to look forward to later on in the year. Mick, when do you think Xbox is going to do their showcase? Do you think it's going to be standard time? Do you think maybe push it back again, or? Muted.
You're muted.
Is he there? You're muted. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it'll be standard time. You know, usual first couple of weeks in June, is it? I think it'll be the usual. I don't think they'll change that. I think we should start hearing something soon, very soon, about when it's going to be, I think. So I think that'll be in the next couple of weeks.
Yes. Yeah,
that's my prediction on that one.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We've also got to
But no, other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've also got to remember.
Stick to the plan.
We've also got, and we know that Xbox are taking part in Gamescom. We know they do have things in the works for Gamescom as well. So there is a couple of shows for Xbox to come up, which is good. PlayStation will probably do the same kind of thing. I would imagine they do their big show for the year, their big state of play, and I'm fingers crossed, they do some form of, even if it's press only, but they do some kind of stage show in person-ish event, and kind of get that stage presence back again. Because I kind of miss seeing the stage presence thing. It was good to see even last year, even with the Microsoft Bethesda showcase being studio only and no people in the audience. It was good to see them have a stage presence, even if it was a closed doors stage presence. It was very much nice to see that kind of format again. I would love to see Sony do that again without the falsities, because I remember the showcase they did a couple of years back where it was like this fake crowd in front of them, and it was really weird to see. I would like to see them do a stage thing again and get the orchestra involved again, like they have at the old E3 showcases, because when God of War was announced and they had the full-blown orchestra doing the God of War music as the game was coming up on screen and showing off for the first time, that's the type of stuff fans remember. That's the type of stuff people go wild for. And we kind of want to see that stuff from Sony again. We want to see that enthusiasm. What I think's been lacking from Sony in their showcases over recent years that I want to see more of is the enthusiasm for the games that they're showing off again. Right now, it just seems like they're just, let's state of play. Let's talk about this state of play. It's like all very much like written for TV type of stuff, as opposed to like this big event. Like be proud of the games that you're showing off again. You used to be like Sony used to be so proud of these big events and these big games that were showing off, and recent events for me just feel like they've just kind of put them together with fancy graphics with some guy on Adobe Premiere. Let's go for it. Let's throw it out.
Yep. Like 20-minute event, which is like an email sized sort of thing. Come on, do something big for once.
Yeah, go. Be enthusiastic about it. And Big Cloud's nodding as well. I would imagine. Do you think the same? Do you think show that enthusiasm, get that pumping again?
Hell yeah, we need that. We need that in this industry.
100%.
I think when Sony do their next big event, keep Jim Ryan out of it, because he's not enthusiastic. Get Herman Holst.
Yeah,
to host the entire thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to do when Sean left. I thought Herman would be more of the public speaker type of figure that you would see more of, and Jim would kind of be like the Kaz Hirai. That makes sense. How Kaz Hirai you would see, but not as much like in the public eye as much. You know what I mean? He'll be like behind doing the deals or business, and he'll give a few comments. But you would think Herman would be that guy that you would have, that you would put up there, because he's great on the mic. The dude's a great speaker. He's great at selling you on a product. He's really, really great. So that's what I would have thought they would have done. But they didn't.
We should get him on the show, Herman.
Herman's got a lot more enthusiasm than Jim Ryan. At least Herman sounds like a gamer and not some.
That's not hard.
Not some suit wearing a dude that's trying to.
We'll definitely see about the Herman thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if anybody's got a good chance of getting someone from Sony on, it'll be BitCloud.
Aw.
Yeah, you know it. You've been doing well recently, brother. If anybody's going to be able to get Herman Hulst on the show, I think it'll be yourself.
Oh, just wait till Monday.
Oh. Is that how it is?
BitCloud, I'm also Dutch. If you need a translator, I'll be there.
I think he speaks perfect English. I don't think I need a translator.
Oh, just in case, you know, I'm available.
I'm definitely gonna need a Japanese translator. That's for sure down the road. I definitely need one.
Yes. Yeah, them kind of interviews are going to be hard to get. Do you have a
Yeah,
translator that
that's
can
gonna be a
come
tough
along
one.
as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I would have to legit hit up somebody.
Yeah. Dear me. Pat.
So always get Mark Cerny to do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy too. Yeah, they all. That's wild. Now I think about like Andrew House, all they all kind of speak fluent Japanese.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, which is wild.
Pat, what about yourself, brother? What are you? Obviously, I
Yeah.
know you've got to shoot off soon because you're at work early. What are your thoughts then for Xbox? I want to ask you the question that's going to kind of finish off your section here, so I can let you go and get some rest. What do you hope to see from Xbox's showcase this year? If any of the
PUBG
games that
2.
you know have been announced so far, the ones that you would like to see that kind of get release dates and things like that, what are the ones? What would be your ideal showcase from Xbox?
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good question, man. Yeah, I really don't know. Like I always said, like every year, just I want to be surprised. I agree with you. Like they need to give that, because E3 and everything is not going this year. They need to give some kind of big show. Like if it's online. But yeah, I want to be surprised like every year. A lot of times you're like expecting things and it's not there, so you're disappointed. And I don't want to be like that. So yeah, like I want to be surprised and just want to see what they have in store. One thing that I want to see
Yeah.
is the next DLC for Horizon 5.
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I'm waiting for is Forza Horizon 5 DLC, because I'm very curious about what they're gonna bring out. So, yeah.
Would you say then alongside Forza Horizon 5 DLC, you'd like to see a release date and gameplay for Forza 8 or Forza Motorsport?
Now, I'm not a big fan of Forza Motorsport.
Ooh.
Not at all. I played like Forza Motorsport 6, I think 5 and 6 I played.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I didn't even like play a lot of the games. I'm more the Horizon series
open world
because it's open world. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, races don't do
I'm not
that.
like the circuit stuff.
That's fair enough. What about the likes of Fable, Hellblade, etc.? Do you hope to see release dates for them, or are you not too bothered?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You're like,
for
definitely.
sure. Hellblade, for sure. Yeah, and like Fable. Yeah, like also you guys said earlier, like you don't hear a lot about this, and yeah, it would be nice to actually know a release date. They don't need to show any gameplay or stuff, but like having a release date for Fable, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Gameplay or trailers can come later, but yeah, that's I think that's about it, because I don't have like any other game in my mind that I waiting for that I want to see. So
Yeah, you just want to be surprised. You just want it to be, I would imagine, as good as last
Yeah,
year at least,
yeah.
or better.
yeah, because I like multiple times, like we're sitting in a party with Erwin and Emil and stuff, and you're getting so excited, and then and then on the end of the show, it's like a disappointment on what they were showing and stuff. So, and since then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna have high expectations,
Yeah.
and just let me surprise me, and then we'll see what happens or what they're gonna show us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll let you jump out now, Pat, and we'll get the rest of the guys in. But let people know where they can find you, when you're next streaming. I know you've been streaming a lot of different things recently. You've been playing a lot of Fortnite recently as well. But let people know where they can find you, brother, and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, of course. Petu_070. You can find me on Twitch with the underscore MWM on the end of my name. Yeah, I stream when I can, when I have time. Yeah, recently playing a lot of Fortnite, so I know I'm digging it, the building stuff and getting the challenges, playing with Sham and with General C, Studios, Marion, with you Dutch. So yeah, that's it's really fun to play. I'm actually done with PUBG, guys. To be honest, because
What?
yeah, it's
End of an
seriously,
era,
yeah. It's broken, man. Like it's I don't know. It's not like it was before.
Yeah.
So we need to try some other battle royale games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, no, but probably I will be streaming this weekend. Keep an eye out on Twitter, guys. I'll share it. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Brilliant, brother. Well, you have an awesome evening, and we'll see you again shortly.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good one,
All
bro.
right, man. Guys,
Bye,
see you later.
Pachu!
Have a good one, man.
Pat.
See you.
Catch you in a bit, Pat.
Bye, tijgertje.
And then there was 6. So, Hertog, brother, I know Pat's
Hello.
being nice and conservative. He's kind of keeping it nice and easy. He's saying he doesn't want to be let down, so he's not going to hope for too much. But in your eyes, what would you ignore Sega, right? Pretend Sega isn't part of this discussion, right? From
No,
Microsoft,
that's not-
Sega's
ah,
life.
from Xbox specifically.
Sega's life. I'll tell him that.
Yeah, see,
Take your
Big Cloud
advice.
agrees with me.
Yeah, Sega's life. Don't you dare say that.
That's not possible, Drew.
From Xbox specifically, what would you like to see from their showcase?
Xbox specifically.
Yeah.
Don't you
well,
say Scalband.
I will at the end because before I get timeout I will do the rest first.
Yeah.
But I really want to see more of Everworld. That game I love the looks of it when that first popped up. So I hope to see more. I know Rare, how you say that, went back to the basics with it. Restarted the whole thing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the graphics and the storytelling of like Rare does in Sea of Thieves and stuff, has always been great. So I'm really looking forward to see more of Everworld. I'm positive about Forza, the Motorsport revival, because as much as I like Gran Turismo, it's not the step for me I expected it would have been. I expected more of the game, to be honest.
Yeah. I know you were enjoying it at first. So because we haven't spoke about it since then, what's kind of let you down for that then?
Well, the thing is, the gameplay is great, right? So, getting the license again and stuff like that has been brilliantly done again. It's Gran Turismo as when it started. The basics are perfect, but I spoke to Erwin a lot about it. But for me, Forza Motorsport 7, so not Horizon, for a lot of people who confuse it with me, I think Forza Motorsport 7 is better than Gran Turismo 7.
Okay.
The physics of the cars, the damaging, the whole vibe of the game. Gran Turismo is going, how you say that, too slow.
Right, okay.
In what it is showing. Forza Motorsport 7 even has more of that. Like your indie showcase compared to the Twitch one last year. It's the vibe is too different.
Yeah.
And Gran Turismo has some great stuff. The museum parts are perfectly done. The history of the cars are brilliantly done. But it's not what I want from the game. I want if I drive 300 miles an hour and I drive into a tree, I don't want it to sound like a vacuum cleaner and then just drive along without damage. It's crazy. You can't do that in 2022.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah. And that's for me. So I'm hoping to see more of that.
Yep.
And I'm hoping to see more Japanese style games.
Yes.
Like maybe they finally have a contract with Sega, because they are working on more partnerships. Like Persona and games like that coming to Xbox finally.
Yeah.
I hope so. Not just because of Sega, but we need more of those games. They had great games on the 360, like Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
There is a market for it, even on Xbox. Ayuran Chronicles was crowdfunded. It was on your indie showcase,
Yeah.
and it reached the Xbox target within 3 hours.
Yeah.
So there is a market for it. People want it.
Yeah.
So come on, we need more of that type of games. And I'm hoping to see more of that.
Yeah.
And from PlayStation side, I'm hoping that they're finally coming back with SOCOM. They need an online multiplayer game. If you have SOCOM and you make it like Gears of War, right? The third person over the shoulder shooter. Man, you have so much potential in SOCOM.
Yeah.
Come on.
Esports, you can push Evo. You can push Evo heavy with that. Everything. Yeah.
So I'm hoping to see that from Sony. I know Twisted Metal is coming back. That's a game I'm really looking forward to. They are reviving that finally. I loved the old games. Twisted Metal Black was amazing.
Yeah.
So and maybe Motorstorm. I don't know. That's a game I would like to see again.
Oh, you pulled out the heartstrings. That game was so good.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to see that. And from Nintendo side, I hope, and that's my for 22 years now. I hope Skies of Arcadia is coming back. The Sega, the best game of all time. It has been on the GameCube, and the Nintendo 64 catalog is on Switch now, coming more and more. So I hope that they add the GameCube version of Skies of Arcadia Legends on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair enough. That's an easy
that's
one.
most-
An emulated port is an easy one to ask for, as opposed to a
Yeah.
new game.
I mean, they are growing their online services, with the Nintendo 64 and even with the Mega Drive Genesis catalog now.
Yeah.
So I hope they will add some GameCube games as well. And from Xbox, mostly I want to see more of Fable. Finally some gameplay.
Yeah.
Hellblade, I want to see gameplay. Those are 2 games I'm really hyped for. And Everworld, that's for some reason that game is attracting me. I want to see more of Everworld. That the looks of it, the sound, the music it had. In the teaser thing.
Yeah.
It looks so great, man. And
intrigues you
Rare
and you just
Rare
wanna
makes
see more.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rare has magic hands with it. I don't know. It's with Sea of Thieves as well. If you've seen what they're doing with Sea of Thieves now and how it grew in all those years.
Yeah.
I hope they can do that in Everworld as well.
Yeah.
That magic touch again. And I hope one of the platforms is bringing a great platformer. I mean, I hope Xbox is bringing Banjo-Kazooie or PlayStation is bringing Sly Cooper.
I mean, they
One
get
of them.
well, yeah, true. I mean, because Microsoft now owns Crash and Spyro, so you would hope. I mean, now that you got those under your umbrella, you would take that team.
No, but
inspiration from that team
I
and bring
prefer
back up.
Banjo-Kazooie or Conquer.
Yeah, I'm saying like use that team, like what I mean, as
Toys for Bob.
inspiration just to bring those games
Toes
back.
for Bob on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So no, that's some awesome options there, Vin. Some awesome options. Sean.
Yeah, but I'm always hyped. I want to see. I want to see, one spectacular thing. I have ADHD. Give me something.
Really?
Give me Sly Cooper 5 with the same art style as Sly Cooper 2.
Oh yeah, on man.
Dude, I'd be that's it.
Yeah, 100%. But Sly Cooper needs to come back, man. That was out of all. If you have Ratchet
Underrated.
Clank, you had Jack and Dexter, you had Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper was the best. Come on.
They were having fun with it with the time when I don't know if you played that one. They just had fun with the franchise with that one. But personally, 2 and 3, dude, they're just
Masterpieces.
Yeah, even the first one for what it was. But I think 2 is just very I think that's the undisputed champion of that particular series.
Oh, and I, of course I have to say for my wife, we want to see a teaser of Tomb Raider,
Okay.
the new one.
Sean, what about yourself? What would you love to see?
That
Oh, go on.
007 game.
Yes, 007 game is definitely one.
Oh, and Skillbound.
They've got a lot of projects under wraps that we haven't seen technically yet. So, Indiana Jones being one of them.
Skillbound.
Indiana
Oh
Jones.
yeah.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.
Forgot about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
If that Uncharted, if it's going to Uncharted level, ooh.
Yeah.
I can see it with the whip. Them adding that with what Sony did with the rope mechanic and Uncharted
Yes.
4. I can see it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And then you've got Contraband. There's so many games that they still need to talk about. I know Contraband's probably, I think it was meant to be due out this or next year at some point. So
Stalker 2 as well.
yeah, Stalker 2. I think that's been pushed back to next year.
Stalker's
now.
a bit pushed back, yeah.
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 Is that because of the war with Russia?
Yeah, Stalker developers are in Russia.
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh, that's
No, they're Ukraine. They're in Ukraine.
Are they? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ukraine, right? Yeah.
Was that
Right,
no?
right,
Was that
right.
Somerville?
Yeah, I think that's Somerville.
Somerville's
The-
Ukraine.
I think
Russia.
the
Stalker
Stalker
2's
devs
Russia.
The Stalker
Stalker's
devs.
in Russia.
No,
Because
Stalker
they
2.
don't have to change the name because they've used the Russian spelling of Chernobyl in the name and they've changed it to something as well because they didn't want to be.
The Kiev spelling. Essentially the Ukrainian spelling.
I thought they were the Russian ones, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. But either way, yeah, be due to the war. that's-
GSC Game World is a Ukrainian video game developer
Okay.
based in Kiev.
Right. So yeah. Okay.
It's
Fair
they
enough.
cancelled a next gen Witcher 3. Witcher 3.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in Russia.
They're
Yes.
they're the Russians.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saber Interactive, I think it was. Was it? Was it
Yeah.
Saber
I
Interactive?
think so. Yeah. But it was.
I'm
Is
not
it
sure.
Somerville or was it? No, it was replaced. That it was replaced. Not Russian. I'm sure replaced, or
Not
was that
sure.
Belarusian? It was one of the two. But they
Abandoned.
they've also been pushed back because of that. But there's a few of them, of course, that'll be next year now. But the ones that we do know, Sean, the ones that we have heard of, that we do know, and the ones that we haven't seen yet, like the Contrabands and the Indiana Jones, etc. What are you hoping to see this year then from Xbox?
I'm not sure. I don't even know what the question was. I had to run outside to pick up. I've just bought an Elite 2 for 80 quid.
Nice.
So I'm just running outside to pick that up.
Oh, very nice.
And it looks brand spanking new. The person who sold it to me said that their kid had it for Christmas and they played it for like 3 or 4 weeks and then put it in the box and I've played it since and it looks that way as well.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Oh,
So-
so it was your doorbell that ring.
Yeah.
I thought it was a microwave.
No, my doorbell didn't ring. I went out to them. I went and met them in the
Oh,
car
yeah,
park.
I heard a bell going off like a couple
No,
seconds ago.
there was no bell.
But yeah,
That was
what,
the timeout noise then.
yeah,
That
Oh,
was the
okay,
timeout
yeah.
noise, yeah.
what was yeah, Sean? What are you hoping Microsoft pulls out the bag this year? Then what are you hoping they, in terms of release dates, gameplay, etc. Of that announced and that we haven't seen yet, like the Indiana Jones, etc. What are you hoping to see if it was your ideal showcase?
I don't know because there's a fair amount that we do know that's coming, and some of that I'd like to at least see a little bit, whether it be a bit of gameplay for the Fable, even just to kind of know what to expect. I mean, it doesn't even have to be anything massive, just something.
Yeah,
Any unannounced game, obviously, I'd expect there to be 1 or 2, especially with everything they've got. But I still don't want I don't want them to announce something that's like 5 years away. I think that's the mistake they made with the initiative, maybe even Fable. I think they panicked when they announced those things. So I want something that's coming out in the next 2 years.
yeah,
That's new. I want to see Contraband gameplay. I want to see Redfall gameplay
yeah.
that you've already mentioned. It's hard to know. I just want there to be variety.
Yeah.
That's what I like about gaming. I'm not one somebody that's like it has to. I'll only play first person shooters. I'll only play over the shoulder third person games. I like a big variety of games.
How
Right,
about the
that's-
new Joe's X? Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be on Microsoft.
That's
That'd be on
Ubisoft, or is it?
Square Enix.
Oh, no, Square
Oh,
Enix.
Square Enix. That's Square Enix. That's Square Enix.
Square Enix. I would love a new Deus Ex. Apparently, they were going to make one and then opted for something else. I can't remember what it was. So yeah, I would absolutely love a new Deus Ex. Although I'm not expecting. I think that franchise is dead now.
Yeah.
Unless the developers get bought out. Sorry, not bought up. They're not kids. Unless they get bought out and the IP goes along with them, I don't expect to see another one, unfortunately, because I really do like Deus Ex. I'd love them to remake the first one, but in modern day, like completely overhaul, not kind of put it into old graphics, but in 4K. I'd love them to completely redo it, because that was a brilliant game, Deus Ex 1 and 2 on the original.
Yes.
On the PC,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it was. So really, it's as long as they've got variety and they show off some new things that you haven't seen. And like you say, there's a lot of projects, hidden projects that we know of, and project names, etc., from leaks, etc., and prior discussions, but haven't actually officially been announced or talked about or anything like that. So potentially some of them.
Yeah, I think it's hard to, when you say kind of what do you want, and you think about what we don't know. It's
Yeah.
like, what would you like out of what we don't know? I don't know because they haven't told me. It's like it's hard. I don't have the imagination. That's why I'm just not an imaginative person when it comes to thinking of like, oh, I want this type of game to do this, that, and the other. I'm just kind of, show me a game. Is it good? Does that interest me? Cool, I'll buy it. No, it doesn't. Then I'll pass. Unfortunately, I don't have a creative bone in my body.
So what about then, if you could get release dates for two of the titles that you know are in development, which two titles would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good question. Release dates for what we do know, probably Contraband, because the premise of what Jez Corden was saying about that sounds really interesting. So probably that, and State of Decay 3, maybe.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah.
Maybe have a gameplay and a release date for State of Decay 3, although I'm not expecting that anytime soon. I think that's way off.
Yeah, it could very well be. Could very well be, but some awesome choices though. I'm really excited to see what that team does with full backing from the start, and on Unreal Engine 5. I think that could really help them specifically for this, and specifically seeing it being a fully fledged AAA development of the new State of Decay as well, as opposed to like this hybrid half indie, half AAA kind of thing that went for with State of Decay 2, which, don't get us wrong, it was a great game, and they've dramatically improved it since launch, but at launch it was terrible. It had severe issues with performance at launch, a lot of network issues, etc., that really hindered it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it did improve dramatically after that. They've updated it to no end, graphically and in performance, so it is in a much better state, and they continue to do so. So I am positive for the next one, and I am excited to see more of it. Big Cloud, bit of a different question
Yes,
for you.
sir.
Sony and Microsoft, you are batting on both sides as well, but you're a Sony
And
man.
Sega.
You're
As a safe word saying.
a Sony-centric man. What would you hope to see? This is where it gets difficult, because Sony haven't spoke about projects in the work outside of what we know with Wolverine and Spider-Man, and potentially in kind of something with Naughty Dog, etc. But what would you ideally love to see Sony show off this year and announce?
So for Sony, I mean, personally, I would like to see something for this Last of Us remake. We heard a lot about it, and factions have been going around for quite some time.
Yes.
And we've been hearing 10 games as a service. I want to know, did this game go through a massive rehaul? Is it completely different from what we played before? Did you guys fix the broken DLC weapons that you had, which kind of broke the multiplayer? That's what I'm kind of interested in for PlayStation. But also, obviously, we're not gonna get anything for Wolverine. it would be cool to see a trailer for Wolverine, just give you like a snippet of not necessarily gameplay, but like a snippet of the character model and like a hint of where he's at. Like, for example, is he with the X-Men? You know what I mean? Is this after the X-Men? Or is he a loner before he runs into Charles? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he just that type of person? It's gonna be interesting to see how they do that. So that type of stuff. As far as Spider-Man, I mean, someone who's played Spider-Man 2018 so many times, even the remaster, and just saw all the hints with the glider schematics, the Green Goblin helmet, and all that. I already know what we're going to be seeing in part 2. We know Goblin's going to be there. We know Harry's officially woke up. We know Venom is a thing, right? So I'm not even really shocked or surprised by that, and wouldn't really need any updates for it. So it is what it is. You know, take their time on that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with those particular games. When it comes to Microsoft, updates on like I definitely would like to see like how far Hellblade 2 is. Like, is that like on paces to drop, let's say this year or next year, right? I like to know if Avowed, how many years is Avowed out, like really, before we see like a true gameplay
that's the thing as well with
presentation
with Avowed. Of course, Jez mentioned Jez Corden. Of course, he's seen alpha gameplay footage a few months back. I think he said he's seen it more kind of the beginning of the year, tail end of last year. And he said at that point it looked fun, like the gameplay looked fun. And he said, of course, it's had quite a few more months since he's seen it. So
okay,
it could be.
So they might have a demo polished up, maybe to go for a showcase or whatnot.
Yeah.
Or ready to go through approval, which is fine. I'm down to see that. I do really want to see, because again, games like Indiana Jones, I feel like are just getting lost in the sea type of thing, because a lot of people are not talking about that. They forgot about that game. I do want to see what they do with a character that's pretty much inspired Nathan Drake from Amy Hennig. I want to know what they do with that. Like, are we going to be getting like a cheap knockoff version of the movie, or are we going to get like a real grounded, well done story type of approach like we did for Uncharted, where there's treasures involved, right? But there's twists and turns with these treasures that you might interact with and whatnot for the story. So I do have my hopes up for that one, because I do think that's going to be a sleeper hit, especially if it's done right. It can definitely be a sleeper hit. And
it's the Prey devs, isn't it?
Huh?
Yeah, it's the Prey devs that are doing Indiana Jones. Can't remember the name. Yeah. They've got a good pedigree, so yeah, I'm hopeful.
You hopeful? Yeah. Okay.
Same.
Yeah, so I'm definitely want to see that and see how far that is. And there was one more game. Granted, it's a multiplat. I mean, I know we're gonna get more for it, but Dead Space remake, I gotta see. I don't care which showcase this shows up on. I just want to see the game and see how far that game is, because oh my god, the new dismemberment, the way the ship looks, the armor.
Yeah.
Just the sound as well. The sound design.
They redid the sound effects of the Ishimura. The weapons they repacked the sounds. Like, it's different sound effects for the weapons. The rig does different things. So you already know, because the first one's a gem already, like just for how gruesome it was, right? Yeah. Part 2, because we're gonna get part 2 at this point. When part 2 drops, imagine seeing the advanced suit with these next gen consoles, PS5 and Series X only, and PC. Oh my god, I can't wait to see these type of things. So it's a lot to look forward to. Stalker 2 is another one. Updates on that, hopefully down the road eventually. Prayers for the team. And
with number 2, would you like it to be another like for like remake, or would you like them to slightly deviate from the original number 2?
You talking about Dead Space?
For Dead Space, sorry, yeah.
I mean, you gotta continue it for sure, because Dead Space 1 is all about madness, right? Engineer losing his mind pretty much, because he sees his wife is dead and she never was alive. He's slowly being twisted by the market. So you have to follow that storyline for sure. But for part 2, I would say, obviously, when you take that story and you go about it, whatever you do not end it to where it introduces like the characters that we got in part 3. If you want to really rechange it, I would say really like go over the top and make it, more gory if you need to, or more darker if necessary. But I don't think they should really think about going back to part 3. Part 3, I thought they lost the plot heavily with part 3 because it was more action based than anything. It wasn't hard.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is it didn't get scary anymore because you had someone had your back.
Well, that was the thing though. That was also a part of sound because remember, Dead Space 1, the part that made the original so scary, you hardly hear anything. See what I mean? So you don't hear these things doing those little tiptoe steps behind you and it grabs you. You don't hear that. So now you got 3D audio, you got better, headsets and whatnot, and audio has become a big thing with these studios. I do think that they'll nail it, especially with the 3D effect, where it's like you'll hear echoes going around the ship. You know what I mean?
And the whispering, that was freaky in Dead Space 1.
The whispering, you would see.
Well, you've got to think. If,
I really hope
if
they
you
build
use
upon it.
Hellblade as an idea as to how whispering's done. If they can,
I mean, that was really, really good. Like for what it was. I mean, granted, like if you played the first one and you see the budget for that compared to now, right?
Yeah.
Remember how they did? They had like people. You can tell they were working at an office because they didn't even hide it. They had like on hats and whatnot. They looked normal, and they were doing the voices, but. How they did that, like for example, you about to get hit and you hear her and like at the last second go, look out, or that, like it's really, really good. And then they give you the hints for the clues, like turn around, look to the right, look up, like you have to really, really listen. It's good. So I expect stuff like that to be amplified to the max with the part 2, because that team nailed that. But for back on Dead Space, I mean. Jesus Christ, they changed so much. You can now fly in Dead Space 1, like on regular parts of the map. Like they
really?
It to that. Yeah, from what it's shown, it was like a few sections where like there's like fire and whatnot. You can jump up and like go different paths and find things. So I'm wondering how that's gonna go. But you know what I really want to though, and this might surprise y'all. I want them to show the Ishimura fall apart before you get there, because we saw the aftermath. Later on, you know what I mean? When we come in, we clean it up. I want to see the aftermath. I want to see the results of the marker at the beginning. So, for example, the mad scientist who makes the regenerator, I want to see just how crazy this guy goes as everybody. And then we show up and we do it. Kind of like how they did with I don't know if y'all played Dead Space Extraction. It was like I think it was Extraction. It was like a move game, PlayStation move game. But that right there was the prequel for Dead Space 3. And basically the character that you're playing as, the guy who wakes up Isaac in the straitjacket?
Yeah.
He's like snapping the straitjacket up and he gets turned into a necromancer. You're playing as that guy and he dies when he he wakes up Isaac. So that's what, I like to see that do the perspectives of everybody. So, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, Resident Evil is another one, Resident Evil 4. So
we all know the remake's coming for that. We need to see it.
Yeah, so again, they're saying they're redoing scenes, right? And more context to scenes. Hopefully they turn. I really do hope they turn Ashley into a badass. She got on my nerves in that game. I'll be keeping the the original. I hope they turn her into a badass because she has that section where you're running from those little statues. You know what I'm talking about? And like they fall and try to get you, and you try to get the little piece. Have her have more than just silly puzzle stuff. Like have her have more. Like I would like to see that because if y'all watch the Netflix show. Her father is in that, and they're like building up towards that. So I'm wondering they might do that and just introduce her into that. You never know, but that's where I'm at with the whole thing.
Nice, Jen. Ideal. If it was going to be ideal for you, what would you love to see from the Xbox showcase this year?
Major updates from previous games that have been announced, like State of Decay, Fable. But as surprises go, I kind of want to see a Halo spin-off again. It's been a long time since we've had a sizable Halo spin-off, and I think it's about time we get a sequel, kind of a sequel to ODST.
Okay.
And I'd like to see that as a third-person shooter game instead of a first-person shooter game.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to Halo Wars 3, but I get it. Okay.
Nah, to be honest, I was never really into the Halo Wars games. I love the stories, but those type of games, not really for me.
That's fair enough.
I'd like to see a Gears first-person shooter as well.
Oh
no,
that'd be different.
First-person Gears of War.
Yeah, first-person Gears of War game set in the Pendulum Wars, soldiers versus soldiers, a little bit of a Call of Duty spin.
I like how everybody
it's
has
so-
a smug when you said like, ugh. It's like cringe when you said first person Gears.
But we've seen the Locust stuff, and they tried to do humans versus humans in terrible Gears of War Judgment, and we all know how that went.
Yeah, we don't want to mention that.
I've always thought that there's so much Gears of War lore, especially when it comes to like the Pendulum Wars. In terms of story, that war lasted like 70 something years.
Yeah.
They could put a trilogy, a first person shooter trilogy together, beginning of the war, middle of the war, end of the war, and then tie that end of the war into the Locusts. And that could be a perfect trilogy, and it could also bring Call of Duty fans and first person shooter fans from Halo over to Gears and be like, oh, this is new. This is different. This is a Gears of War that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
I'd rather them do a horror Gears of War.
See, I think the same for Halo.
Gears of War.
I think the same for Halo. A Halo Dead Space-esque type game, first-person shooter, so it's like harnessing those fear elements of
Halo.
Resident Evil. It could with the Flood, if you're like on a ship, say the UNSC Infinity-sized ship, and there's a flood outbreak on that ship, and you're one lonely Marine running around the ship, and there's a Spartan that's a Flood, and it's one of the most overpowered Flood in the game, pursuing you relentlessly, kind of like Alien Isolation.
Oh, like the Queen. Yeah. Or not the Queen, but the little alien. But Gears personally, I haven't had and I would like to see that because that'd be a welcome change. I thought they were going on that route after we saw that first gameplay session before we got Gears 5. And I haven't been it's crazy because the last time Gears of War ever gave me the chills, it was the Mad World trailer. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I see.
I love that trailer.
And I was like, damn, this is okay. This is kind of up my alley right now. This is dark, it's gritty looking. It's then we toned it down. We go to this action superhero, almost like they want to make them into the damn Fast and Furious crew. Everything's got to be over the top explosions. Nah, it doesn't have to be that. Can we really go to some horror? Can we have some twists with these characters? And I actually like Gears 5. I don't know if y'all enjoyed Gears 5. I
love Gears 5.
I love it.
Yeah.
Especially Hivebusters.
So I didn't even play Hivebusters.
Oh,
I heard
you
good
need
things
to.
though.
You need to.
Yeah.
As for Sony, what I'd like to see from Sony is there are rumors circling that Siphon Filter, they've been rating those games for some kind of relaunch.
Yeah.
Maybe they're rebooting that franchise. I'd love to see that. Siphon Filter is a game I enjoyed playing when it came out.
Yep. Anything else?
But yeah. Not so much on the PlayStation side. Can't really speak for SOCOM because I never played SOCOM games. Killzone, I'd like to see a serious reboot on that, maybe, because the multiplayer didn't do so well for the last Killzone game, and I think they could do it. They just need to get the right team to execute it.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's plenty left in the Killzone universe. I think just the execution wasn't there for the last one.
I mean, they could reboot Resistance as well.
Yeah.
People keep asking for it.
I prefer Resistance above Killzone, to be honest.
Yeah. Out of the two, I'd say Resistance as well. Do a reboot of Resistance.
Dude, just give me my life would be complete if I had Resistance 1 and 2. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a team bringing back the classics for the new PlayStation 3 movie.
Yeah.
So that right there immediately is okay. A
lot of franchises they both companies, Xbox and PlayStation, have that are just sitting on ice that someone could do something with, which is probably better than trying to come up with something brand new, because brand new is a big risk a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So grab something old and refresh it.
Was anybody interested in that Corey game? It's from Supermassive Games. The
guys, horror game.
Yeah, it was at the horror game. They did.
Oh,
what was that game they did?
Quarry.
Until Dawn. Yeah, the Corey. But
yeah, I'll be.
That's the one with Sam Raimi's brother in it, right? Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
It looks good. I'm like, I don't see people talking about it. Surprisingly.
Are you unzipping, Chamberlain?
Now I'm playing with me elite.
Pause.
Is that what you call it, Sean? Playing with your elite?
Damn straight.
Which one?
I hear sirens in the background. I'm thinking he's packing the body.
Doing a Dexter.
And a body
Got my
bag.
kill room set up.
Mick, what about yourself, brother? What would you like to see from the Xbox showcase? Something Sea of Thieves, the next big announcement for them after last year when we had the crossover with Pirates. What would you like to see? Muted.
You're muted again.
Sorry, I've just come back from getting my drink, so yeah, muting yourself. Yeah, Sea of Thieves would be nice, obviously, but I mean that's inevitable. There's more stuff coming for that, I know. So it's not really on my list because I just know it's coming. So
Yeah.
it'd be great to see it when it comes. I think game wise from Xbox, probably Avowed.
Yes.
That's one that I've been looking at and looking forward to seeing more on. That's definitely up there with the sort of Elder Scrolls theme of RPGs. So that one's definitely got my interest, but I'd like to see some more of that. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's up there. The other one would be probably Forza Motorsport 8 or Forza Motorsport, whatever they call it. Whether they just rename it, just go back with that name. Can't wait to see some more from Motorsport. So yeah, the track racing's good. I do love Forza Horizon, but I've always liked the way that we switch between Horizon being open world and then a bit like, a couple of years later we have the track, and it's nice. By the time I've played one and got bored of it, I'm ready for the other one.
Yeah.
So we're overdue a track racing one now. So I'm looking forward to that. So they'd be my two from Xbox. On the PlayStation side, I think that obviously Wolverine is one of them that I'd love to see more of. But I still think that's probably a way out.
That was also a great game. A Way Out. Also a great game.
Oh yeah.
Resistance is one that I remember fondly as well from PlayStation. So yeah, I think if they were gonna bring anything back, that'd be a good one. I think I'd enjoy that. So yeah,
I remember going around the girls' house to play Resistance 2 and not actually playing Resistance 2.
Yeah. I remember the Furies and Resistance.
But yeah, that's about it.
It's been a while. It's been too long for a Resistance. That would be an excellent comeback.
It would.
Hell yeah.
I think it's due, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Maybe this time,
Especially on
the
current gen as well.
Those
Yeah.
Furies.
Yeah, definitely.
Be awesome. For me, I would. I want to see more. Should we say proper combat gameplay? The refined combat from Hellblade, Senua Saga. I know they've been working really hard on changing up the combat and making it a little bit more in depth than the previous one. Of course, being a bit more involved in combat than the first Hellblade. The first Hellblade, of course, was mainly, should we say, more of a puzzle action adventure. Whereas I think this one's going to go for a little bit with them improving the combat, getting the entire studio working with combat. Obviously, training in hand-to-hand combat and weaponry and things like that. I think that level of commitment to combat, I'm looking forward to seeing some gameplay of that and the release date to follow as well. I would love to see more of Fable. I would love to see Contraband and Indie. I would hopefully want to see maybe's not a direct release date for Fable, but I think even a window saying fall 2023 or something like that, just to give a rough idea as to when to expect that game, and of course when to expect a literal release date for it, should it be next year. Forza, of course, naturally, I just want to know when that's coming. I think obviously we want to see the gameplay, we want to see the new and improved visual fidelity of the new engine, the new Forza Tech engine, and see how that is for the new game. And obviously get a release date for Forza Motorsport. On the PlayStation side, primarily I want to I just want to see something new from them. I think I want to see. We've now had a few Horizons. We know God of War Ragnarok's on its way, so that's another one there. I want to see something that isn't Spidey. I want to see something that isn't Wolverine. I want a new IP directly from Sony, from one of their in-house teams.
So you want to see what Haven Studios or I guess Deviation Games and
Yeah, one of their new products. Yeah, what they're working on. Obviously, I want to see what, because we know the likes of Corey's got a game that isn't related to God of War that's being created.
yeah.
I want to see kind of hints at what that might be. Really, I just want to see new games announced from Sony's side. We know what's coming so far, but we don't know much past what is there already. So I want to see new announcements from them. I want to see games that we don't know of, new titles that we don't know of. Whether that be reviving Resistance, which would be absolutely awesome. I've never played the Resistance games myself, but I remember friends always ranting and raving and shouting about Resistance and always playing Resistance and things like that throughout the years when I was on the Xbox side. So I know for a fine fact if that was announced, that would be a huge deal as well. So I would love to see Resistance, but primarily for Sony, for me, I would love to just see the new games, the new IPs. What else you got cooking up that we haven't seen? So that would be ideal for me.
Yeah, it's been over like 10 years since last Resistance game, right?
Yeah.
PlayStation 3, right?
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Definitely needs to come back in some way, shape, or form.
And they do.
It holds up good to this day, which is crazy. Holds up still good.
They need one, to be fair. They don't have their own. And again, aside from Bungie with Destiny, of course they've acquired them, but they don't have their own shooter. That's one thing they're missing in their portfolio, is a first-person or third-person shooter. I mean, I think they do.
They're
need
looking
one.
for that in Deviation Games, though. I think, right? And I think Bungie's going to help, but at the same time, because these guys are former COD developers, but I think they're making a horror game, if I remember correctly. But one of their games is a horror game, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I can see them delivering, though. Whatever it is, I can see these guys delivering.
Definitely. And fingers crossed. What I really like to say, I think from Sony's side, I want to be surprised. I want to be pleasantly surprised by it. But overall, I just think, as showcases go, I just want both of them to from Xbox, I want to see more of the same in terms of pacing and the way that they showed their games from last year, because I think that was pretty much on point. From Sony, I just want them to step up and be a little bit more enthusiastic about what they're showing off. Have that stage presence again. Get the hype up again. That's my key things from the actual showcases. What we're going to do to wrap up the show is read out a couple of the community questions. And of course, whilst we're reading this out, if anybody in the chat has more questions that they want us to ask whilst we're going through them, shout them out, go for it. We'll try and get to as many of them as we can. But let's get a good start here. One of the biggest question, which came on Twitter from Christopher Jones, he said, why do you think Microsoft is not driving more TV cinema advertising for Gamepass, particularly in the UK, during at a time where Xbox is seeing greater momentum shift in sales markets, yet it has the opportunity to grow much more? Shom, what do you think? Why do you think Microsoft isn't driving more advertising for Game Pass, even though they seem to be on top of the right now, the momentum?
The only thing I can think of really is that they're going to blast it once they've shown what they've got this summer. Yeah. I think if you remember, they were on a roll, like you were getting things like every other week or every week, and then all of a sudden it just died.
Yeah.
And there's been nothing. So my only guess is that they're just holding off now, and then once that's out, and you can get this, you can get that. I'm expecting maybe even a stealth drop during E3, or what would be E3, of something to push it. That's the only thing I can really think of, is that they're just holding back now. putting everything into advertising when everybody knows, the information we've got has been out for close to 6 months now. It doesn't make any sense to me to do that.
Yeah. That makes sense. Big Cloud, what do you think?
Oh boy,
The age-old question.
Hold on. Just ask it one more time. Let me see if something hits. What was the question one more time?
So, why do you think Microsoft is not driving more TV and cinema advertising for Game Pass, particularly when they seem to be having the greater momentum shift?
One of the main reasons I think is because, well, really, if I'm Microsoft, I'm looking at what Sony's doing with Spider-Man. Giving them custom trains, custom buses, stuff like that. I think that type of effort they do want to do, but the state of the world, I think that's what's stopping them. I don't think that's why. But there could be a lot of things, really. Like, one thing about Microsoft and Gamepass, they really try to advertise with one particular game. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because they need a big, massive game to do it. They tried it with Halo. That did help a bit. And aside from that, there's really nothing else in terms of like big known game right now that's been like that's coming out that we know of that they can tie that to. Maybe Avowed, if Avowed makes the right impression. Same thing goes with Heavy. I was about to Heavy, right? Hellblade 2. Maybe that would be it. But really, it comes down to you're only as good as the mascot, I guess you can say, with what you're going to do with your advertisement. And this was something Sony had an issue with. Like, if you remember Crash, remember how they used to do stuff with Nintendo? They used to have Crash literally go to GameStop and start slandering Mario or something. You know what I mean? So I would say it's really that they don't have like a mascot type of like a game to stand behind to really go, hey, this is it. By the way, it's day one. You don't have to pay $60 right now for it. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. I think they are waiting for that. Potentially, hopefully, it is just a case that they're waiting for the right mascot to come along to showcase it.
But this is why I said to you, though, multiple times, like, really, like, the more they take their time and not do this, I think they're missing a golden opportunity to get their hands on a superhero and use that as, like, a catalyst to push the service. You know what I mean? Because that's, like, the real big trend right now. I'm not saying you need Batman, right? Why not go with Blade? You said Blade. That's a good idea. Why not go with Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange has gotten so much more popular with the MCU and whatnot. It's a lot of characters you can reach out.
I'd love a Daredevil game.
You could make a great Doctor Strange game now with if you think about how Control was.
There you go. With the magic, you can have the mirror dimension. You can do stuff like that. Again, like, I'm surprised they never thought about this or went, damn, we really do need a superhero. Like, Sony, when it comes to advertisement, they have one. Like, if I was to be like real crazy, they have one character that's guaranteed to sell units right now. But I'll just throw him out here. He'll sell a unit by itself, and that's Spider-Man. But now you have two. You have Spider-Man and you have Wolverine.
But you're forgetting
iconic character. Yeah,
you're forgetting one thing. They have a game announced today where there is a lot of superheroes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the trailer from Dreamlight Valley from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It has the Toy Story, the Lion King. it's Animal Crossing game for Xbox.
Nah, like, if I was legit, like, if I could talk to somebody in marketing with Microsoft, I would just flat out tell them, dude, and I would throw this at them, and I think I would blow their minds when I say this. But I think Microsoft and Spawn would be the perfect mix for a game and just advertisement. And you're with me on this. A custom Xbox look like Spawn, dude.
Spawn on the Dreamcast was brilliant, man.
There you
I'd
go.
say
Crazy Liv on the chat saying Mandalorian. Got to agree with that.
I mean, I'm surprised they're not getting into the Star Wars type of film, especially when it's open now. You know what I mean?
Well, there's
Mandalorian and
been some talks about a Mandalorian game. No one knows if it's true.
Yeah.
But if it is, that would be a huge deal.
I mean, hell yeah. I'm down. Star Wars has been given a second shot of life when it comes to games and whatnot. I can't say that about the movies.
Yeah.
but it's said they've been given a shot of life. Do the Mandalorian, the Rogue. What was it called? Rogue was one other one.
Rogue One.
As you know, they Rogue One, and a few other. I think the Kenobi show, which by the way, we just got blue balled by that Kenobi show because Darth Maul is not in it, which kill me, just kill me. So
He was supposed to be in it, but
yeah, that
conflicting
thing with
stuff caused it not to happen.
Instagram. Yeah, it was the Instagram post that he did.
That's fair.
I don't know if I remember that crazy Instagram post that he did.
We'll go straight on to the next one then. A nice, easy one here. Favorite console and why? We'll start with Mick. Mick, favorite console and why?
Oh man, that's a hard one. That's really hard. I mean, man, I've got very fond memories of the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, the SNES was just an amazing thing. I had so many, and that was the game. That was the console that I got me into Zelda as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's difficult, really is, because I mean the new this generation is pretty much it's the golden consoles, PS5 and Series X, Series S. They're just, because we've got things like backwards compatibility as well. You've got so much stuff in one system. It's difficult, but if we were going to just narrow it down to games from each generation and you know that match the system, I'd so 360's up there as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's an impossible answer for me because
I just don't
so
think
many console generations I haven't played. So
Yet.
Yeah. And I at one point I owned pretty much every system that was that had been available. I had a huge room full of boxes of different systems. I had to get rid of it all. It was just taking over my house.
I try to keep mine, but it's like, you know, it was a hoarder's nightmare at that point.
It really was a hoarder's nightmare, and it was not doing me any favors with the other half at the time. So, I'll go out there and just say the SNES, just purely for the nostalgia of growing up with it.
Yeah. That's fair. Jen, I know you said it's going to be very difficult for you, but even if it's a nostalgia
if I had to pick, I'd have to pick the 360 era because of the friendships I forged through that. It was my first steps into online gaming. Games like Halo 3, Gears, they gave me an appreciation for brilliant storytelling. So yeah, I think I'll have to go with the 360 if I'm forced to.
Yeah, if you're at gunpoint, there we go, pick. What about you, Big Cloud? Favorite console? Why?
You know,
don't feel me, brother. Don't feel me.
PS2 will always be that console that just
PS2 was amazing.
That will always be the one that just like yo, if you want to talk about what defines you as a gamer and just gave you everything, you were spoiled on PlayStation 2. And I can argue that with PS4. You were spoiled on PS4. You had a lot of gems on PS4. PS4 was pretty much everything the PS3 should have been, but more. You had all your features, and it was a lot simpler. You know, we look at it now, and it's super basic compared to this 4K menu you got on PS5.
PS2 is great. Yeah,
it was so straightforward, and I would have to say PS2 is definitely where it was.
Why haven't we got a remake of the Resident Evil Outbreak games?
You know, those games are underrated, dude. I actually enjoyed those, especially for that time that it was. Outbreak was definitely really good.
Yeah, we keep getting these like half-assed Capcom Resident Evil multiplayer games.
Yeah.
They've got a perfect multiplayer game right there with Outbreak. Remake it.
It was too bare. You know what it was about Outbreak? It was too bare bones. You know what I mean? Like it was mostly cutscenes, and it just like you had those weird cutscenes cutting with the gameplay. It wasn't really fluid. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a one shot type of thing. Kind of like the Dino Crisis approach. Not like you see a few cutscenes with the dinosaurs that immediately cuts the gameplay, and it's like it's all over the place. If they were to do that
in this generation of gaming, though, Resident Evil Outbreak would be a great game for multiplayer.
Dude, I would take that game with Resident Evil 2's engine, like the remake engine,
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
with multiplayer. That would be all I need for it. It would have
Yep.
been perfect. And I thought they were going to do that with the RE verse, right?
Yeah.
But that
Oh,
was
don't get me started
terrible.
on that.
That was terrible. We're not going to get into that. Like, Capcom has those moments where they just blow us away and they're just amazing. And then they have those others where it's like, what in God's name were you guys on when you made this game? Like Resident Evil 6. How the hell did Resident Evil 6 concept make it to the damn final production? Like, that was too much the way that camera was. Resident Evil 5 was okay to get to the third act, I guess you can say for that game. I think 4, though, I know that this might sound weird, but a lot of people look at 4 as like the downturn of the franchise because of the action. But 4 was the perfect mix of action and horror. It had it all. It really did nail it. If they can bring that back, especially with the remake, that would be it. Really,
I just think Capcom need to figure out how to do a Resident Evil game and have it be online as well, because they've dropped the ball so often. We had that, what was that Umbrella Corps game? It was tragically bad. Then they had that Umbrella game where you played as the Umbrella guy.
Chronicles? Was it Chronicles or something?
I can't remember. Operation Raccoon City.
Yeah.
That, awful.
You know what it is too?
Cool, but awful.
I would take a multiplayer game from them if it had, like in Resident Evil 2 Remake, you play as the cop, the other cop, the one that's like left behind, starts with an H. I forgot his name. The Ghost. What was that dude's name? God, what's the dude's name?
Oh, I can't remember.
Was it Hank? Was it not Hank or? Good God, what was his damn name? They took that, but you play a simple when you have to get out of the mansion, basically, and there's a bunch of zombies coming at you. You got to fight your way through the zombies and get through the door, avoid Mr. X. Like I would take something like that in multiplayer form, but it'll be more strategic based, where you have to make sure your team is with you. You know what I mean? You're getting through this, or had that be with the Hive. You know what I mean? Like mix it up. I think something like that. Like it doesn't have to be like a horde mode, but a horde mode would be great too. But you don't have to go horde modes.
I'd like them just to give the Outbreak games another chance. Remake them, flesh it out a bit more.
I'm down for it. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome stuff. Sean, favorite console and why?
Oh, Hunk. That was the name, Hunk.
This is a little bit of a hard one, isn't it? I'm torn between the PS2 and is it Mike that said the SNES?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the SNES is like one of my greatest memories gaming as a kid. Was unwrapping the SNES when it launched and playing Super Mario World. That's one of my fondest memories. So that always kind of steals it. You've got F-Zero, and just all the co-op times I played with my brother. But then when you look at the PS2 and the amount of games they had and the quality games they had at the time, I'm probably going to go PS2, but just by an inch. Just again, it's just the memory of playing games as a kid with my brother.
Not a care in the world, You just had so much to play. You were never bored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm lucky I grew up in, like, my stepdad, he was a gamer. Not so much now, he's gotten on a bit, but I was lucky enough that I had pretty much we had a flipping Atari Jaguar, for God's sake. So when I say I had every console, I had every console apart from the Neo Geo, which was like ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to have to be that, just purely because, I mean, let's face it, the PS2 is the GOAT anyway. When you're looking at consoles, I think it's the greatest one. I think 360 is close behind that.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good generation in general. But yeah, I'm waffling. It's going to have to be PS2.
Awesome stuff.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Vin, do I even need to ask at this stage?
No,
of course,
just move on.
Sega Dreamcast, 100%. Not even by inches, but by miles, light years. It's I got it, and I will never, lose that memory. It's as easy as that. The first time putting in Crazy Taxi, the first time putting in Virtua Tennis, Sonic Adventure, and my favorite game of all time, Skies of Arcadia, Jet Set Radio, The Beats, everything, man. Sega did it so brilliant, and I will never lose those memories. House of the Dead with the light gun,
There you
Sega
go.
Bass Fishing with the fishing rod.
Yep.
Dynamite Cup, everything. That system was just pure power, pure brilliant. Killed by your favorite PlayStation 2 because of a fucking DVD player. That's the whole reason. But apart from that,
yeah, the games were going more this route, and Nintendo was making games as small as cartridges. Y'all remember the GameCube? Forget.
yeah, the GameCube, yeah, with the mini discs, yeah. But,
Mini CDs,
yeah.
or mini DVDs. Yeah.
But PlayStation killed everybody of that generation with PlayStation 2. Let's be honest, because of a fucking DVD player. But for me, yeah, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It was that, and the fact that getting EA games or not getting EA games on Sega.
well, I don't know, because I think Sega's own sports series were way better than the EA series. With NBA 2K, with NHL 2K, you name them, Virtua Tennis, they were way better than EA games.
Yeah.
It's just simple truth.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not to be denied. I mean, there's a reason EA is being hated by a lot of people.
Yep.
Look at the 2K series back in the day in the Dreamcast. It was pure brilliance.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
And every game you put in a Dreamcast at that time, it was great.
Yeah.
Only to be killed by a company with a DVD player in it.
I mean, the
Not bitter.
sad part is Sony didn't even have to try. That was the scary part about it.
Yeah, but but Big Cloud, let's be honest. What if Dreamcast also had a DVD player? What would have happened?
But
it
it didn't.
No, I get that, Shyamalan, but
He's saying what if? We're doing like a Marvel what if story. What if?
yeah,
What if? Again, it was a good system.
Yeah.
But you know what it was though? Even if it did have that particular thing, Sony had all the deals at that point.
Yeah.
Like they had everybody on like Rockstar at that time.
Yeah.
You might say they were exclusive to PlayStation at that point, and you would have the illusion that they were exclusive to PlayStation until what was it? San Andreas dropped on Xbox at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you also had Dreamcast. I don't know if you remember that. It was like an emulator for PlayStation 2 games for the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't really legal, but you could do it.
yeah, I just noticed my camera went up.
Yeah. Noticed you like.
What the hell's my camera like that?
So Drew, what's yours then?
Mine, surprisingly,
refresh.
mine actually is more nostalgia route. My favorite one is there we go, getting back in again. There we go. My favorite console that got me into console gaming properly, that I owned. My first console that I owned was the PlayStation 1, and I've still got very fond memories of coming home and from school and just playing that non-stop all the time, getting the latest game magazines and getting the demo discs and trying out all these new games and checking out to see what new games I'm going to get. And again, the first time they had it was a Time Crisis on there with the light gun on the PS1 and
All about that game, man, and the House of the Dead games.
House of the Dead games on
Dude,
PS1.
Time Crisis, dude, you brought up, that's another
Yeah.
like heartstring right there. So
Yeah.
good.
That was Namco, right? Namco.
Yeah.
Namco.
Was it Mega Man? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and just all of it that gave me the excitement again for the first time. And I had 2 light guns at the time in the house because I used to go and play the light guns in the arcades all the time. So obviously when I got one, I had to get a second one for when I had friends over to play, or even with my brother, and play the light guns and play Time Crisis all the time. And of course then introduced me to the Final Fantasy series for the first time because I'd never played them on Nintendo. I hadn't played the originals up till 6. I played them afterwards on PlayStation and got the the collection it was, where it included Final Fantasy 1
Yeah.
through 6 on PlayStation 1. And I got that on sale in a supermarket, believe it or not. And it's just everything that went into the original PlayStation and introduced me to console gaming for the first time. That console will always be my favorite, I think, of all time. A close runner-up that introduced me to online gaming properly would be the 360. And again, nostalgic reasons, Gears of War Online, before
Yep.
that before that turned into something different, but Gears of War Online for the first time, Halo Online again properly, and everything that went into that, just awesome. But yeah, PS1 for me, hands down.
Was it the PlayStation 1 also the one with the bazooka light gun? Or was that the Super Nintendo? Where you had this
That was one
shoulder
of the
light?
Nintendos,
I think that was
right?
Nintendo.
Was
that
it
one.
Nintendo?
That was the SNES. The SNES had the shoulder bazooka light gun.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that
The
was.
scope
It was also in the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
The Scope 6.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Did you have one?
my mate had that.
Yeah. It's fucking awful. It used to go off. You have to calibrate it every other game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could actually watch the tracking go off as you were playing the game. You'd be shooting straight, and the tracking would slowly go over, and you'd end up like pointing the gun over here to try and keep the target. Wait till the end of the game and then recalibrate it again. Yeah, it made me laugh because the old NES,
Yeah.
that duck hunt gun, and
Oh,
it was
but-
flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never
Yeah.
went out of
Next question for everybody. We've got a few there, but we'll kind of wrap it up into one instead. What game specifically hooked you into being a gamer? I'm going to start with Mick
Ooh.
first this time. Mick, what game hooked you into being a gamer?
Oh man, some of the earliest games I think I remember playing was some of the Dizzy games on the Amiga.
Yes.
What?
There were some of the games that I think that I seem to remember there being a series of them, and realizing that not all games were just one and done. You know, like one game and that's it.
Yeah.
And the Dizzy games were just a little platformer. I don't know if any of you, Sham sounds like he recognizes it, but
I'm too young,
yeah,
I
they were
think.
They were just a small platform type game where you were this little egg jumping around,
boxing
and there
gloves.
was some boxing gloves, yeah. And yeah,
They were
that's
hard as
probably-
well.
they were tough, yeah. And I seem to remember Treasure Island Dizzy and Fantasy Dizzy and a few others. They were good. They were good fun, and that was probably the earliest I sort of remember thinking, yeah, these are great, you know, and I
Yeah.
want more. I want more of this. So probably Dizzy, but yeah, Dizzy games, blast from the past.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. BitCloud, I know you were like, so come on. What was the game that turned you into a gamer?
Ah, man. So I gotta blame my sister for the obsession because we had all the systems. So now she doesn't even play games like that. But the funny thing is, she was like the one that really kind of like had all the systems around, like the Atari and whatnot with Pac-Man. But the game personally, I would have to say was Toy Story. Believe it or not, that was the game that drawed me in. I was on the Sega. Toy Story on the Sega. That was it because I was big into the whole Disney realm as a kid. And I was like, oh my God, let me play this game. This game's gonna be fun. I was like, Jesus Christ, this game's kicking my ass as a kid. And the game that made me go PlayStation, I would have to say, was Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the game that got me into
100%.
platformers.
Yeah, 100%. Countless hours on the original Crash and Crash Team Racing and everything like that. Unbelievable.
Dude, when you got into that and like the big boulder is chasing you, I was like, dude, this is so fucking awesome. It was
Yeah.
so chaotic and loved it.
Awesome stuff. Jen, what's the game that turns you into a gamer?
Before this game, I wouldn't say I consider myself a gamer before it. I played games like Pokemon. I remember the PS1 Hercules game. but before this game came out, I shared consoles with my sisters.
Yeah.
So I never really had my own console experience until the Xbox 360, not Xbox 360, the original Xbox
Yeah.
with Halo 2. And Halo 2 was the game that cemented me as a hardcore gamer. And it'll always be that I always go back to.
Yeah.
And I do it quite often. Every other week I'm installing Halo Master.
With the OG Halo.
I think True froze or not?
No,
Oh,
I'm
Yes,
here
you
again.
do, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here again. So what was it? The OG Halo was that?
Not OG Halo, Halo 2.
Halo 2.
No, it's funny. I felt like I heard a heartbeat and everybody was just frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so so no one heard what I said, no?
No, we heard you.
I heard
Yeah,
you.
you heard
It was just the Dutch froze.
Yeah, it was just me. Frozen. Halo 2. Awesome.
Did it happen on the stream? Because
I think so. I think so.
Everyone disappeared.
There we
But
go.
yeah, Halo 2 was the game that cemented me as a gamer. Although I played games before Halo 2,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really consider myself a hardcore gamer before
Before
playing Halo 2.
Do you remember the tournament they did for I think it was G4? They were outside because this is when we were waiting for Halo 3. Yeah, I remember with the Xbox 360 because
Yeah.
I remember they had everybody outside. It was like a couch. And they were playing like Halo 1 through 2. It was like a little marathon. How long they stay up for it? Good times, man. I'm just saying, good times.
Very good times. Very good times. Sean, what about yourself? The one that turned you into a gamer for the first time.
I was born a gamer.
I was born. I was
merely
born and
adopted the
raised in-
controller. I was born with it.
I'm a bit like
So you're saying you're tarnished?
I maybe.
No.
I'm a bit like Mick. I always say Mike.
Next good. I'm easy with both.
It's missing because you're missing the E off. We're going back 32 odd years.
Yeah.
Both of us. And my
we're
brain
not.
gets a little bit. We get a little bit fuzzy. My mind gets a little bit fuzzy about what I've played and what I haven't played. I've played a lot of games. I don't remember all the games I've played, and that's not a kind of a brag. It's just what you do when you get old. But one of my first memories of playing a game was the kid down the street. He had a Spectrum, and I remember playing Batman on the Spectrum. And fun fact, the Spectrum Batman and the Commodore 64 Batman were two totally different games. They weren't the same.
Back then, a lot of those games, even though they had the same art and the same, available on, and it'd show you like 5 or 6 different systems. You could play them on those 5 or 6 different systems, and they'd all be completely different.
Yeah, different maps, different layouts.
Some would be 8 bits.
I was shocked. I remember.
Here's a fun question for you guys. Did anybody on this panel play Superman 64?
No.
No. Nobody.
I did. I did briefly. Yeah, I did.
I played it through Blockbuster and literally returned it the next day.
Yeah. I played it briefly and took it back.
I remember winning a copy of the Superman game that came out on the original Xbox or the 360.
Was it a giveaway?
Yeah, I won a copy.
I would sue the giveaway for royalties.
Well, I won it, and then it never showed up. And I said, "Where's the game?" So they sent me another copy. They sent me another copy, and they both turned up on the same day. This is a brand new game. I took a game and traded them in for like 80 quid because it's a brand new game.
Was that the one based on the Brandon Ralph movie?
It was the animated
Possibly.
serial one, right? And it was like you had to fly through the rings.
It was garbage anyway, and I took 2 sealed copies in and got like pretty much full price for them.
Nice.
Anyway, back to the question. What made me a gamer? I don't know. I would probably say it was probably around the Amiga, although I played games before that on the Commodore 64. I remember I used to play a lot with my brother, but I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. I think probably the Monkey Islands was what really, really got me hooked into gaming, and that was some. And then we moved on to other games, and then my stepdad, we used to take it in turns on live towards the Monkey Island games, the point and click type games around that time. Is probably what really kind of got me hooked into the gaming.
Yeah, well, thankfully,
I had a similar thing with those games as well. With the they had a very similar. There was my mum has always been into murder mysteries, and they had Sherlock Holmes games out on the PCs.
You ever play Cluedo on the Not Cluedo. Yeah, actually, no, it might have been Cluedo on the Amiga, but it wasn't Cluedo as in like the board game. It was like a proper murder mystery. You click your character around the thing, you try and solve the thing.
Maybe, but like we said, gets a bit fuzzy.
Monkey
The
Islands is a
Alzheimer's
good show.
kicking in.
Yeah.
Monkey Islands is a really good show. Vin.
Oh,
But what I find funny about those games is like they would take us weeks to finish.
Oh God, yeah.
And there's an achievement now for doing it in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, yeah. I know it would take forever. I remember playing hours and hours and hours on the Monkey Islands and thinking that they lasted forever, but they don't. Like you look at them now and you can pretty much speed
They're
run
really
the game in like an
short.
hour.
yeah, it's just yeah. But have you tried sticking the chicken with the fork on the light bulb? No, you can't do that. Right? Okay. I don't know. We're just staring at this screen, trying to look at what we've got in our inventory and what needs to go where, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle fixes all.
I need to get those games and stream them.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, the humour in them is really funny as well, and because it's Ron Gilbert, I hoping that the humour transfer that he still got it, but he did the Tumbleweed, whatever it was,
Tumbleweed Park.
Tumbleweed Park. I still need to finish that actually.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the same humour. He's a genius, that guy, for the point and clicks.
Yeah.
There's a really good bit on the commentary on the. I think it's on the second one on the director's commentary, and it's got Ron Gilbert and the other guy whose name escapes me right now, and then it's got Tim Schafer, and they're introducing themselves at the beginning and on says who he is and what he does. And the other guy says, "I come in and I do this and fix this," and then Tim says, "And I come in the night and just completely scrap what these two have done and rewrite it all."
I forgot that Tim Schafer was involved in them.
Yeah, no, that was Tim Schafer.
Yeah, completely forgot that.
I'm really looking forward to the new one as well. Thanks. Yeah, that's awesome games, and they are one of the ones that really stuck with me as well. Before I get into mine, Vin, favorite game game that turned you into a gamer. Not your favorite game, but the game that turned you into a gamer.
Well, that is a hard one, I think, because I started, gaming more like later on in my life. I wasn't really a gamer kid, but I think the Mega Drive, or for BitCloud and the Sega Genesis, was the start for me with International Superstar Soccer and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
For me, but before that, I know my brother, my little brother had this Nintendo 8-bit, the NES.
Yeah.
And he had this game called Solstice.
Yes.
I don't know if you with the little wizard, with the puzzle stuff.
Yeah.
And we all tried to do that some puzzles together. So I don't know, either or Solstice or the entire Mega Drive. When we got around with friends, some of us had a Mega Drive Genesis, some of us had a SNES, and you had this Mario Kart or International Superstar Soccer, which we all played together. Then we hold these tournaments on paper, who was winning.
Yeah, I remember the paper tournaments. I think we all had them.
Yeah. So I think that's a bit of the start. But for me, when I started really getting into gaming myself, fanatically, that was the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Time, then I was really like, I'm making time for gaming, instead of other stuff. So I'll probably go with the Mega Drive Genesis, the paper tournaments for International Superstar Soccer.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart. But It's hard for me, you know. I wasn't like you, all of you guys, you know, born gamer. That's one thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. For me, it's definitely a little bit different. Although much like Shom, the Monkey Island ones, I played to death. Again, another one I thank my father for introducing us to, because he bought all of them and brought them in. But he introduced us to a lot of them in my games, and what turned me into a gamer wasn't console gaming. I played the consoles, like the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive and everything at my uncle's, but then it was still very casual for me. I think what turned me into a gamer was Age of Empires. On PC, I remember spending an inordinate amount of time playing Age of Empires. Specifically when, and you used to have to, when that first released, there wasn't real internet, it was still dial-up at that point. So playing online Age of Empires, but also then downloading the modified game modes and things that you could play in Age of Empires that the community had created. And that's where kind of the mods thing kind of got a hold of me for it as well, because they had something called Castle Blood, which for every 50 kills, it would generate a different soldier that you would use, and you'd have to get another 50 kills, and it would generate another higher tiered soldier, and to the point where you would then be able to go and destroy another base. So there's 60 on the map. You would start off with like a really weak soldier, just a hand guy, and you would have to go out and just keep killing people, and it would keep generating soldiers until you'd killed 50 people, and then it would generate the next lot, and then so on and so forth, and it would get up to the point where you would then have flaming archers, and you would be able to go to the enemy's base and destroy them and wipe them out and take them out the game. And that kind of competitiveness and everything within the Age of Empires universe was just awesome. That actually got me hooked into gaming in the first place. And again, alongside that, it was the likes of Monkey Island, Little Big Adventure, Combat Flight Sim and Flight Sim on the PC. But definitely Age of Empires was the one that turned me from being a casual game player to being an actual gamer. 100%. Last question for today is actually more orientated towards, I think, me and BitCloud on this one, but we have a few streamers here. What made you start a YouTube channel? BitCloud, first of all for you, brother.
Wow. Okay. So my channel originally, when I first started doing this, ironically, I was going to be like a Call of Duty channel. I used to upload clips from all the games I would do, and
Modern Warfare.
Not just that though. It was like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, time 2. I would drop, and I noticed I get a few clicks, but nothing substantial.
Yeah.
So I was like, obviously, because Call of Duty was oversaturated, it still kind of is to this day. So I was like, okay, this isn't for me. So especially when I stopped playing Call of Duty, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna force myself to play this. So what ended up
on the light. Oops, sorry, my bad.
But what ended up inspiring me to really chase it was kind of the journalism approach to it. I started seeing a lot of news outlets start having YouTube channels talk about things. And I was like, dude, I know more about that than this guy.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I'm pretty sure I can, do this. And went bought a mic and then started to get comfortable with it. Started doing everything. Ironically, before you guys seen the whole transitions with gameplay and me and all this stuff in my videos, it literally was just me with my pre-built PC at the time, because I bought a pre-built to start it up.
Yeah.
I had a Audio Technica, which seems to be everybody's mic when you start, and literally all you saw was just the my browser and me talking over the browser. That was literally it. So literally reciting news was something that I really wanted to do, and but get my takes on it, and that ended up becoming the inspiration. And as far as like interviews and whatnot, what inspired those, I'm a big fan of I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, but his name's Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of Craig Ferguson and the Late Night Show.
No.
Always have been. You never heard of Craig Ferguson? Dude, he's awesome dude. He's hilarious. But I was a big fan of his work and what he did and everything in the interviews.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this dude's still to this day is unmatched when it comes to interviews and how he like brings that energy. I was like, I like that. It inspired me to talk to people and have people on and get different opinion. And, that right there usually is 5 times better than hearing the same thing over and over from like the same type of group. You know what I mean? Like if somebody says this is no good, what are the odds that the next person who's part of that said group is going to say something different? It's not going to be very high. You know what I mean? Everybody has these like same mindsets. And again, a lot of people like to surround themselves with that. They call it echo chambers. I didn't want to be around that. I wanted to have my own, my own little vibe type of thing where everything was mixed, everybody different opinions. And so that's what inspired the podcast.
Nice. For me, I've spoke about this a few times, but for me, getting into the YouTube channel was more of a byproduct of wanting to start a podcast, and I've spoke about it on Twitter on numerous occasions. I went on and guested on a few people's, but we were pretty much already doing it anyway. We were in party chats and we were speaking to each other about video games all the time, and we had a lot of opinions about video games that we were talking to each other about anyway. And we had a great community of people that we already knew on Twitter. So we thought we'll try this podcast and stuff, see how it goes. And obviously spoke to Sham and Erwin and Pat and Boxenberger again a couple of weeks after that, and got the podcast started and went from there. It was pretty straightforward. We were already doing it anyway. We were already talking about video games all the time. We were already in the DMs together, talking about video games. We were already playing games together, speaking about games all the time. It was a natural progression. It was, we do this. We think we'd have fun kind of being a podcast, so we'll give it a try. And of course, almost 2 years later now, we're still sitting here, still talking games on a weekly basis, still playing video games on a weekly basis, still having a good time. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was just doing what we love to do anyway, and then sharing it with a larger community that continues to grow, and we're meeting new people, playing games with more people. So yeah, it's more the community for us, and just the love of gaming is what kind of started the YouTube channel, I think, in the first place. The love from all of us to create the podcast and get it started. So yeah, nice one. Awesome show. Thank you everybody for sticking around and even rejoining and getting us back to pre-field stream levels of chat members. Thanks for tuning back in again, and obviously sitting through weird network issues that I'm seeming to have this evening, and I'm going to have to chase up because that's several times tonight it's done that. But thanks to everybody who tuned in. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, for those who tuned in later, part 1 of this podcast is on the channel already, ready to watch.
This is sponsored by Manscaped, so this is part 2.
This
the sponsor
part 2
version.
sponsored by Manscaped. Yep.
Don't forget to leave a like.
Yeah, we all have shaven balls now.
And that All-State insurance man come out of the closet. Are your balls in good hands?
Take care of your balls, and your balls will take care of you.
You're muted again, Nick. You're muted.
Mick, you're muted.
Sorry, as I say, was that what made the electric trip? Was
Yeah,
it your,
I think so.
was
Yeah,
it your
shaving me
flippers?
balls midstream. Oh dear me! But yes, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to everybody in chat and all the likes, and the new member, of course, new Irish member we've got in the community there. Thank you again for that, and the super chat.
Our bear.
Yep, IABear32, I think it was. So thank you and welcome to the community. But yes, we will get into our outros, and we'll go from there. First of all, Xbox Mick, brother, let people know where they can find you, and obviously you do your awesome streaming now over on Twitch every Sunday, I do believe, and of course Tuesdays with myself, and occasionally with your daughter playing some Lego. But let people know where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, so like you just said, streaming on Sundays with Sightless Combat. Whatever takes our fancy. We're currently going through Hive Busters, getting him through that, so that's good. Me and you, obviously, and General C and my mate Chris are streaming on Tuesdays at the moment on Sea of Thieves
Great
every
time.
week.
Definitely join you next Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, the usual places, Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, all good. Thanks very much for having me.
No, as always, very welcome, Mick. Very welcome. Next up, General C. Let people know what you've got
Hello.
coming up, because you've had some changes to your channel as well, and changes of direction. So where can people find you, and obviously the new stuff you're
And
going for?
clothing.
I will be doing. Oh, I caught my breath there. Sorry. I will be doing YouTube videos. I'm working on a Hunt Showdown video at the moment, writing the script for that.
Yeah.
Streaming is going to be a big thing for me now. I've really got into streaming over the last few days. Been streaming Hunt Showdown as my main game, apart from on Mondays where I've been playing Black Mesa. Again, on Monday I'll be playing Black Mesa. Tomorrow, more Hunt Showdown. Saturday I'm doing a Resident Evil 0 playthrough, and that'll be every Saturday as well.
Nice.
You can find me on Twitch, _General_C.
Yeah.
Same for my Twitter there, and on YouTube, the General C.
Nice.
And on cosplay shows.
And soon, OnlyFans.
Dear me, BitCloud. I know you've got a lot of big things coming up. I know you'll probably talk to us after the show to tell us what you've got lined up. But yeah, where can people find you, and what have you got coming up that you can talk about?
Yeah, I put out a tweet today. This tweet's going crazy. Everybody's like, "Oh, what is this announcement?" Monday, I will announce it. What's happening? But next week, it's going to be a insane week. I'll just say that right now. Going into next Friday's show, RGT podcast. I'm going to be live on my channel at 7. If you guys want to come through, it's like 7:30. I've got Tony Polanco going to sit down and talk about the industry for a little bit, and that's going to segue into us going into Solidcast. So if you guys want to check me out there, but it's Big Cloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. For those of you that are new to me, I am a freelancer with IGN, and that's what I do on the side, aside from YouTube. And yeah, it's always awesome to be part of this awesome group of people. And you know, I have a brother. I made a brother on this podcast, you know, through Sega. So
Yes.
yeah, there you go. So there you go. But yeah, no, I appreciate everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit that like button, and as you tune in.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Sean, it's again great to have you back in the mix again, brother. I know you took a bit of time out, you had a bit of a stressful period, but it is awesome to have you back in the mix again. It did miss having you around, to be honest, so welcome back, brother, officially, properly. Let people know what you've got coming up, of course, and where can they find you.
Yep, I've got work coming up. I have a 7-day non-stop stint, which is fun. But you can find me on Twitter, just looking and probably browsing on my phone while at work. I normally just lurk rather than get involved in anything. Because last time I got involved in something, I got accused of being a pony, which was interesting. But anyway, you can find me on Twitter under Shombalon or Xbox Live under the same tag.
Nice.
And it was a derogatory pony as well. It wasn't a Sony fan. It was a derogatory thing.
Last up, Hurt Dog Vin. Where can they find you, brother? What you've got coming up?
Well, you can find me every Wednesday here. Almost every Wednesday if I'm not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. On my Twitch channel where I stream some stuff. Everywhere the same name, Hurt of Phoenix. And soon, if the Dreamcast 2 releases, I'm going to do a show with Pong Sol and BitCloud Gaming. We're going to do the Sega show, so the Sega podcast. But we have to wait until Sega announces it.
Oh, that's a pipe
And yeah, I made a deal with Pong Sol about it on Living Split Screen, so I have to do it. And of course, BitCloud is going to join then as well, so we're going to do the Sega podcast then.
Let me know.
And yeah, that's where you can find me.
The world will know how amazing Sega is.
Yeah, of course, and will be when the Dreamcast 2 arrives. And you know, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo can fuck off. You know, then the Sega is the only ruler in the world.
Vin's planning on buying Sega.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, if Shiba goes to the moon, and finally is about some time, then I can do it. No, but that's where you can find me. I'm gonna on my Twitch. I'm be playing Captain Tsubasa, the soccer RPG, Eternal Sonata on the 360, Godfall on the Series X, and I'm gonna start the Order 1886 on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Very
I'm
nice.
gonna. That's the games I'm gonna stream for the moment though. And well, tomorrow I won't be streaming because then we have the semi-final of Feyenoord versus Olympique Marseille.
Yeah.
So the French are going down. You're gonna win it. Fuck the French. Feyenoord Rotterdam forever. And Friday is my dad's birthday, so I will probably not be gaming or streaming, but.
Nah, enjoy that time with him, man. Enjoy that.
Yeah, of course. He's my biggest hero, legend, friend, everything. So he's turning 63, almost retirement. So.
No, wow. See?
Nice.
My mom's 57. Or no, 59, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My mother is 59 as well. So.
There you go. I'll be
So,
30.
see,
You know
we have a lot
the
in common.
wild part? You know
We have
the
a lot in
wild part?
common.
There you go. No, wild part. So me and my mom were born in literally in the same month. So August is our month. So hers like
okay.
so her 22nd she'll be 60 and 30th I'll be 30. So time flies, man. Time flies.
Yeah.
Awesome
I
stuff.
think I'm the youngest here. 28.
I'm 36 now, so I'm not as old as Mick, but.
Are you trying to say he's a relic? Oh man, how old is Mick? How old is Mick? 62? No,
40.
84.
42.
42? Ah, there you go. It's not old.
Oh, you're old. You're old. Oh,
That's young.
Sean's the 40 now, aren't you?
My dad's 55. He's still a gamer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
That's
That'll
closing in on the
never
40.
go. That'll never go.
I had a thought as well that the next show, next Wednesday, is May 4th. So you never know.
Star Wars show.
We,
then.
hopefully we'll have some big news on that day.
Yeah.
Kiss
May the
off,
fourth
beard.
be with you.
Hey, Dutch, I already know that beard's going bye-bye when you hit 50, though, ain't it? You just want to get rid of it.
Hell no. It's gonna go. It's gonna just
You
be
know,
a
because he's
beard.
tripping
Oh,
over it.
Gandalf
Yeah, we
style.
tripping
Gandalf
over
the
it.
Are you
white.
trying to grow or grow it? That's a lot, man.
Gandalf the white. I'm just gonna go full on wizard.
You're a wizard, Dutch.
Yeah.
Come
But
on,
yes,
looking like
thank you
Thor.
everybody once
Legit.
more for tuning in. Hope you all
Where can we
have an
find you,
awesome
Drew?
evening. You can find me, of course, right here on the Midweek Mix-Up, both Wednesdays and Sundays. Every Tuesday we do a Sea of Thieves stream now, with obviously Xbox, Mick, Chris, and the General C. And Primetime Gaming, usually every Monday. It is moving to Wednesdays in a couple of weeks' time. But every Monday for the moment, of course. Midnight for the UK guys. That's 7 p.m. for Eastern Standard US time. So you can find me there. Hope you enjoyed the show this evening. Until next time, see you later, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you all.
And don't forget to check out the Indie Showcase.
Yes.
Take
Oh,
care,
yeah,
chat.
definitely. Oh, and by the way, congratulations on that, man. That was really awesome to see. Very
Thank
happy
you.
for you.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to leave a thumbs up on the way out.
Yes.
Yep.
Thumbs up, like,
Take
share,
care, everyone.
subscribe.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Manscaped.